Just doing some Verilog actually to try to get the just a few different logic gates onto a what is it now? Yeah, so this is the program. It's kind of like a program, it's like a design language. So yeah, that's there's like the output wire, and what it's going to do is you've got AND to OR to NAND to NOR to X NOR to NOT, and then there's an internal clock divider and an external clock divider. So I'm going to feed in the pixel clock and the sync clock of the videos from the camera device that I've been working on, and then yeah, it'll divide those down if it works properly. And yeah, you've got this is the rest of the logic telling you what the clock divider is going to do, and the internal, it's got a 50 megahertz clock, so I'm going to divide that down and just use some more of the chip. And then you've got this is the description of what pins are what, so they all go down there. There's 44 pins on the chip, you can't use them all, there's some that's preserved. So yeah, then you kind of use I've got it on Windows 7, and this is like a Xilinx. Xilinx make the complex programmable logic device, aka CPLD, sort of a forerunner to the FPGA, and afterrunner to like the PAL and GAL chips, programmable, like yeah, and PLU as well, uncommitted logic arrays, these kind of things. It's like a development of that, so it's like what, mid-90s this, I think, maybe late 90s, my preferred era for everything. Anyway, so here's the Blinky basically, and then you put the what I was showing before was a more complicated one with the thing. So you got that's for the Blinky, and then the which pins are which for the Blinky, and then you say okay, run synthesize that. It synthesizes it, it fits it in a chip, it gives you a description saying you have done it, it gives you one file, and then you can put that in there, and then basically the Blinky's only ever really used to check that your tool chain's working. So this is a little breakout chip that is on a USB to the Raspberry Pi. He then programs the chip there via you won't go off that now. Yeah, this xc3sprog, that was a mouthful, like that's the name of the software, but yeah, it's a great little command line utility. So you say okay, what's on the JTAG chain, this, ID code this, Xilinx XC9536XL, and like the length of the, I think that's instruction register length. It's a fairly small CPLD, but yeah, you should be able to fit quite a lot of gates in, you know, just like a standard logic gate. So I can hook that up to my camera and then just connect up then this one to this one, and then that's an AND gate, and then take the output there and you see what they're doing, and what it looks like with an AND gate, instead of having to try loads of different logic chips, you know, discrete logic chips. Whilst it's kind of nice to use those, it's like, yeah, this is way easier to do that. So I've programmed that with what I hope is a working set of, it's not very well, I'm just checking, what I hope is a working set of logic gates on this thing, because that's all it is. You just program it with logic instructions, and you can have clock dividers and stuff like that, but it doesn't kind of perform operations like a CPU does. It just, you put the code on there, it designs it in this way where the stuff flows through in yeah, logic gates. It's amazing, really. And then yeah, so it programmed it, and then it went through good, and then that's all you get. It's just nothing. But yeah, it's great little software. So yeah, now I'm going to check, I'm going to program my other file and hope that one works, because I have to test that a bit more. But yeah, I wanted to it's been a while since I used it, and I got a successful Blinky on it So yeah, I just always put that one on first, and it's like, right, then you know that the way that it's transferring across is actually working before you transfer one that you don't know whether it works or not. I mean, people know this already, but I'm just explaining it. Yeah, so I'm going to do that now. We'll see how that goes. I mean, you're not going to see it working straight away. Perhaps I should have put an LED on there as a heartbeat, but yeah, never mind. So now what I'm going to do is, instead of the... Oh wait, you have to change the folder actually. Let's cancel that. Get you a bit closer in there. Just cancel that. And you need to change folder to that one. Right. And then what's in there? Have like a version 1 and a version 2. Yeah, I want a version 2 actually. 2.0, so changing then into that directory. And it's there, so then you can just go program it with pretty sure they both call exactly the same thing, and that's why I had to move it into some folder. And I'm not entirely sure whether that is even version 2. Oh shit, gone too far now. Yeah. Okay, so now just the title, yeah. Alright, so that's going to program that now, and the blinky will go out, and it'll just go like that. It'll be quiet for a minute. The blinky's gone out over there, and then it should just say completed, unless it fails. Still busy with xc3sprog. Yeah. Okay, that was that. So now I can test it and see whether that worked. It's sequencing the bends still. The bends are the same. It's still flashing the LEDs. Still changing the things. I'll look at that in a minute. So taking the LED outputs from here, they're going into here. Not all of them. I think just one missing there. They're going into here. I've programmed this CPLD. It's a Xilinx, fairly small, from like 2007. 44 pins. Right, so it's running a load of custom logic gates that I've designed and programmed into it, and then yeah, so all the inputs and all the outputs basically are logic gates. And so here's some of that. It's going yeah, basically you've got parallel input, so it shares the input, so you've got logic A and B. Bit 0 is that's the input to a two input AND gate, and A0 and B0, right? But then you've got A0 and B0 are also going to a 2 input NAND, and they're also go to a 2 input NOR, and so on, XNOR, and they've got a inverter. And there's some clock divisions going on there as well, because there's an onboard oscillator and kind of like dividing down the pixel clock and the sync clock and stuff like that as well, so you can invert the signal. So basically it looks like there's only a few inputs, but they produce all at the same time. So from your 2 inputs you have like, yeah, you've got the AND output, the OR output, the NAND output, the NOR output, and the XNOR output, and the inverted output. So then you can cascade those into each other as well, so you can take the output of the AND and put that one into the input of the NAND as well. So yeah, it's actually really flexible, and they're good because there's loads of gates there, you know, all at the same time, so it saves so much space, and it's actually really easy to interface with the little setup here. So I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to use it as part of my toolbox, because yes, wicked. It's like, what would that look like with some logic on it? Just get that up, plug it in, and away you go. You've got loads of different gates at the same time, and it's fairly kind of self-explanatory. You need that sheet, the pin guide, to tell you, but it's just all of them. There's only a few that's reserved, and they're not on these headers. They're on that one, or they're like power and they are on these, but then it doesn't actually matter if you put a logic, you know, the power, or you got 1.8, I'm not sure that's even connected though, and you got 3.3, so it's like it gates together what's there anyway. So I've been using it, and it's totally fine with having just a high as an input. So you can see, maybe you can catch one of the LEDs and blink and you can see. A couple more, maybe get them in shot, you can see them blinking along in time with them. Because they're like an input to a gate, so when they go high, then it activates it, you know, or doesn't activate it. So you've got some various other, you can see the reflection, that's pretty interesting. You can see in the reflection at the back there. Scripts I've been working on this one. This is changes the light balance. The white balance, not the light balance. So you can see it's changing colour as it's changing the white balance. So there's not too many things you can script on this camera, but this is one of them. Doing a feedback loop, that'll look really nice, you know. Sync to tempo, of course. It's just doing a random tempo right now. So yeah, then you can put the bends on, but nothing triggering them. There you go. It just draws on the screen information about the camera itself in a kind of text mode. Do you know? Yeah, there's some like hex addresses down here, and it does return information about the battery level and the temperature and various details, and then it just says some like random error messages as well. So yeah, that's just drawing in the text mode that you can draw. So you can put text in, strings, whatever, and it'll just draw it, and then you can put the LEDs doing that as well on top of it, you know. And then once I script in that colour balance, light balance thing, or white balance, I can't even say it right, as well, you know, and then got the scripting of you can change the monitor, that little message won't come up, it comes up down there at the moment because I just wanted to see what the actual count was for full or off, but yeah, you can turn that off. So, you know, yeah, colour and phase and stuff, it's like, there's a lot of possibilities when you factor in all three. So you can turn those bends off at the moment, and then yeah, that's just the thing. I was trying really hard to get like Chinese or Japanese font on there, but it's well harder, man. Like, I've got the Chinese, like literal the text, but for the menu, sorry, so that you can say, yeah, look, this is it, and you can put then Chinese words in the script and it will write them on in Chinese, but you need a raw bitmap font in Chinese. So if anyone knows where that is for CHDK, I've looked, I can't really find it. There's some Chinese websites that they're not really active so much anymore, it's quite a few years old. I'm really looking for the Chinese raw bitmap font because it'll look amazing. Trying some random stuff on the frame buffer, yeah, that's it. So you can put text mode on there. I'm pointing at the screen, but it's not pointing at the screen. You put text mode on there. There's some other little text going on there. You can move around these things, you know. It's got little dots on there, I think, as well. Pixels just lit up, so you can move just random objects around and have it kind of on and off, which is really cool. I mean, it looks just so 8-bit and ridiculous, but that's what I like about it. I'll try that with the bends on. You see what I mean? It's like, whoa. But then we need to have the LEDs on with that. But yeah, that black square is looking amazing, isn't it? with feedback and stuff, you can change the size of it as it's driving around there as well, you know. You just flip this on and off for some lo-fi bending. But yeah, brilliant.